Welcome! Today we are going to crack the code on something called the trial balance. And trust me, by the end of this, we're going to break it down so simply you'll feel completely ready to walk into your exam. So let's start with a really easy way to picture this. Imagine you just finished a bunch of math problems for homework. Before you hand that paper into your teacher, you double check it, right? Make sure it all adds up. Well, a trial balance is pretty much exactly that, but for an accountant. It's that final check to make sure all the numbers are looking good before they create the big official reports. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the what, the key terms. Then we'll cover the why we even do this. After that, the how, the actual steps to make one. And then a super important topic for your exam, the errors a trial balance can find, and the ones it can't. We'll wrap it all up with a quick quiz and a final summary. All right, let's dive into section 1. What is a trial balance, really? We're going to get straight to the definition and the key features that you'll definitely want to be able to spot in those multiple choice questions. Okay, here's the most important thing to get right away. A trial balance is a statement. It's not an account, it's a list. And its main job, to check if the math is correct. That's what arithmetical accuracy means. It basically checks one simple but crucial thing. Does the total of all your debit balances equal the total of all your credit balances? Now, this slide is gold for your exam because these bullet points are basically potential exam answers. So remember, it's a list of balances. Its main purpose is just checking the math. Debits have to equal credits. And here's a big one. It is not a final financial statement itself. Think of it more like a bridge or a link that helps you get the numbers you need to create the final statements. Okay, so let's move on to the why. Why do accountants bother with this? Understanding its purpose is going to be key to answering any questions about why it's so important. So here are the 5 main reasons. But the number one reason, the one you absolutely have to remember, is that first one, to check the arithmetical accuracy. Of course, if the totals don't match, it's a huge red flag that helps us find our mistakes. It also gets all our numbers organized so we can then prepare those big financial statements, like the balance sheet. And this image, well, it really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? The trial balance's main job is just to be the accountant's calculator. It's there to verify that all the debits and credits are playing nicely together and are perfectly in balance. At the end of the day, it's all about checking the math. Okay, now for the fun part, the practical stuff. How do you actually make a trial balance? Let's walk through the format and the steps. This is the standard format you're always going to see. It looks like a simple table, right? Because it is. The first column is just the name of each account, cash, capital, whatever it is. Then you've got your 2 money columns, one for all the debit balances and one for all the credit balances. And way down at the bottom, you have the totals for each column. And those 2 totals have to match perfectly. And look, it's just 4 simple steps. If you follow these, you'll get it right every time. Step 1, figure out the final balance for every single account you have. Step 2, list them all out. Step 3, carefully put each balance in the correct column, either debit or credit. And the final step, add up both columns. If they're equal, congrats, you've got a balanced trial balance. Now, you might hear about a couple of ways to do this, but honestly, for your exam, you really only need to know about the balance method. It's the most common one by far. It's the one we just talked about, where we only use the final balance of each account. The other one, the total method, is not used much at all. So just remember, the balance method is the one to know. Okay, everyone, listen up, because this section is super important for your exam. Understanding what a trial balance can find, and even more importantly, what it can't find, is a classic topic for multiple choice questions. This right here is probably the single most important idea in this whole section. Conclusive proof just means 100% absolutely certain proof. So what this is saying is, just because your trial balance totals are equal, that does not guarantee that your books are perfect. Some mistakes can still be hiding in there. This slide is so critical, so let's really break it down. On the left, you see the kinds of errors that will make your trial balance not balance. So for example, if you put a debit amount in the credit column, the totals won't match, and you'll know right away there's a problem. But on the right, you have the sneaky errors. For example, if you just completely forget to record a transaction altogether. Well, the debit is missing, but so is the credit. So the trial balance will still balance, but your records are totally wrong. That's a classic exam question, for sure. Okay, you've learned the main ideas. So let's try a couple of practice questions. These are just like the kind of thing you're probably going to see on your exam. Let's test your knowledge. First question, what is the primary objective? The main reason for preparing a trial balance? Take a look at the options and think back to what we said was its number one job. And the correct answer is B. Its primary purpose is to check that arithmetical accuracy. Sure, it helps with other things, but its number one job is just to prove that the total debits equal the total credits. Okay, next question. Which one of these errors will not be found by a trial balance? This is testing you on those sneaky, hidden errors we just talked about. And the answer is C, completely forgetting to record a transaction. This is called an error of omission. If you never record it in the first place, both the debit and the credit are missing, so the totals still match, and the error stays completely hidden. Okay, let's bring it all home. Here is a super quick summary of the absolute must-know points for your exam. If you're short on time, this is the one to focus on, the TLDR, if you will. So let's recap. It's a list that checks if debits equal credits. Its main job is just checking the math. It's the starting point for your final reports. And the most important point of all, just because it balances, it does not mean everything is perfect. Don't forget about those sneaky errors it can miss. And there you have it, the trial balance, completely decoded. You've now got all the essential concepts you need. Keep these key ideas fresh in your mind, and you'll be a huge step closer to acing that exam. You've got this. Good luck.